A strong craving is always a proof of addiction. It's not that you like something. Okay, I like fish, I like meat, fine. Liking is okay. You feel good about something is okay. But a craving is much stronger. People wake up in the morning and say, I need first a coffee, otherwise I don't function. That's a craving leading into an addiction. If you drink caffeine, the caffeine mimics the situation of death. The caffeine makes the adrenaline gland go into a power mode like you are scared to death.
The Arts Council for Monterey County is here to invest in your creative future. If you're a student, your journey is just beginning. Apply now for college arts scholarships or raise your voice as the next Youth Poet Laureate. Honing your craft? The Arts Council for Monterey County offers individual artist grants and free BusinessWorks professional development workshops. From finding inspiration to building a career, the Arts Council for Monterey County is your creative partner. Learn more at arts4mc.org. That's arts4mc.org.
Norbert, how do I say your last name? Is it Heuser?
Heuser.
Heuser.
Like Heuser.
Norbert Heuser. Heuser. I like it. Where are you located?
Well, I'm German. I lived for the past 25 years in America, in Tampa Bay, Florida, where my original company, my headquarters is still in Germany.
Okay. Yeah. As you probably guessed, my last name is also German, Kinderscheid. And so, while I do live in Central California and I was adopted, so I can't really claim any sort of German, nationality or anything like that. But I do love that it's always a good conversation topic. So you would have probably spelled it and said it perfectly right.
Sure.
Yeah, most people struggle. There's an L in there for them. They see shield somehow, but what are you going to do? So you said your headquarters are still in Germany, yeah? And so
Yes.
it seems like you have a pretty eclectic collection of topics that you are really passionate about and have done a lot of good work and research in. And I'm curious, how does that happen? How did you get so vast in your collection of topics? What was the original inspiration for each of them? Like, how did that happen?
I think it was just my life calling. At the age of 3, I had my first out-of-body experience. At the age of 3, I stepped into a previous life.
Interesting.
Where I died in one of them. I died because I was alcoholic. And I died of liver cirrhosis. Very painful, I can tell you. Very, very, very painful. But at this time, of course, I didn't know what was happening. It all became clear years later, right? Because who talked about previous lives and about out-of-body experience in school? Nobody. Big mistake. Because children, especially children, have a big access to previous life in the first part of their life. A very natural access. But we invalidate them. Oh, you had a bad dream. Forget about it, the parents say. So the child stops talking about it because it's been stopped and validated. So I had these experiences. At the age of 10, I had my first time alternative medicine experience at the age of 16. And looking back, I knew that it was a calling, which of course didn't figure out at the beginning. You got to pass all that, look back and see the road and see the structure. And all of a sudden, things start to make sense. So I stepped into alternative medicine at a very early stage. And the fun part was, I wrote a book about coffee and addiction, right?
Yep.
And the fun part is that in all my life, I never drank coffee.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In this lifetime, I always loved the smell of fresh grinded coffee. I love the smell, right? But in this lifetime, I never drank coffee. I never smoked cigarettes. I never took drugs. I never drank alcohol. never ever. That looks for some outsiders as I'm a nerd, I'm a missionary, no, I'm not. I had my days of sex and rock and roll, so and I still have them. But for all these reasons, when I connected with my past life, as a 3-year-old, I tasted a bit of alcohol on my parents' table, and it gave me a flashback and said no. Said
Wow.
no. And then the age of 14, I tried a few beers, or, at this age I was bullied, you get a beer, and I tried and I said, no, it's not for me. So I decided, and there were a lot of experiences. I don't want to drag it too long, but some experiences gave me the direction without feeling punished or forced. It was just for me a natural thing to do, right? So at the age of, and then I became then a management consultant, the youngest in Germany many years ago. And I'm consulted a big American company. And that was the start of my career as a management consultant. And until 45 years ago, I was never sick. I was never in hospital. Fast forward, my grandsons were born in my jacuzzi bathtub. None of our family was ever vaccinated. My grandchildren were never vaccinated. None of us has the jabs. We all stayed away from it, right? Which, of course, was a lot of my influence and my experience. So 45 years ago, overnight, I became very sick. I had no idea why. I just, out of the blue. Of course, things develop. You're never out of the blue sick. It develops, but you don't see the writing on the walls. You don't follow it through.
Right.
So at the time there was no internet. I went to the Yellow Pages, looked for doctors, because I had no doctor. I was never sick. Picked a name, called him. Yes, come on over. I came over. Little did I know that this man is responsible that we sit here together today. That this man was responsible to change my entire life. So what happened was, I was sick as a dog. He checked me out, and in 15 minutes, he knew what was going on. My liver was 3 times expanded.
Oh my goodness.
I wanted to fly next day to Japan. I had an appointment in Japan, and he says, no, you cannot fly. You risk your life. You cannot fly, right? I said, I got to. They're waiting for me, right? I said, okay, I'll give you a shot tonight, and you will not sleep. If you want it, your decision. He gave me the shot, which later I found were very high quality, intensive vitamin shots. Okay. When I came back a week later from Japan, he has diagnosed me in 15 minutes that I had something which is called food addiction. Now, if I give you my food addiction, you will be smiling all the way. You smile all the time already, but you will be smiling even more, right?
Okay.
So I had a food addiction in bananas, tea with cream, and yogurt. These were my 3 food addiction, which I drank morning till nighttime, all over the place. He said, okay, you got to stop these today. My girlfriend was with me at this time. She was laughing, me stopping to drink this tea. She said, she laughed, he cannot.
His
I would
identity, he must.
I drank per day 3-4 pots of tea. I would
Wow.
drink one pot before I go to sleep 10 minutes later. Okay?
Wow.
So, but what happened at this point, when I drank the tea, it felt like I'm burning inside, like you put fire in my digestive system. I mean, burning, like fire. It said, okay, you want to get out of it? Okay, good. Let's go on the trip. You've got to stop these. This man, 45 years ago, was specialized in food addiction, which 45 years ago, nobody ever heard about. Food addiction was not known.
Right.
And within 2 weeks, he got me out of the worst. And I was completely, at this time, interested in alternative medicine. I'm not sure you're familiar with kinesiology, muscle testing?
Yeah, a little bit, but go ahead. Refresh our listeners.
Oh, it's a special show for another day.
Yeah,
So I became
kinesthesiology, though, is an important part of our functioning, our body taking in
Of course.
nutrients and vitamins and all that. So, of course, food matters. But you're right. 45 years ago, it was you ate a lot of places. You ate what you could get.
Sure.
Yeah. So I get it.
I was starting then into kinesiology, muscle testing, and I started as a management consultant to consult my customers about their food intolerance. Because food intolerance and food addiction is something different, but they sometimes intertwine. Right? So this gentleman was specialized in both fields. What a coincidence. I picked this man and I said to him, the doctor, I said, "Doctor, do me a favor. I'm an adult man. I have my job. I have my company. However, would you accept me as an intern in your practice without pay?" And him and I, we just took off well with each other. And he says, yeah, at this time he was already 70, the gentleman, and working full-time as a doctor. So I went there every day to work with him in his practice as his assistant, as his, not giving medical advice or intertwining with what he was doing, but listening and assisting, whatever. And we worked every day except Sunday and Christmas. Little did I know that it would take almost a year. So I did a crash course internship with him, which almost took a year. And after that year, I said, "Look, doctor, I appreciate it so much." We became real friends. And I incorporated what I knew as a management consultant, because I found that most of the managers I was trying to consult in their business world had all an addiction, more or less. And in my book, I say as well that, to my opinion, sugar and caffeine are the most spread drugs in the world.
Oh, yeah.
That they are legal makes them even more dangerous.
Yeah, I would concur with that 100%. Especially here in America, I know that for sure.
Yeah. So when we did the work with his patients, he was specialized, and 95% of all his patients, he only worked on food addiction and food intolerance. And he fixed them. He fixed most of the people in front of my eyes.
Wow.
This is why I wanted to do the internship. Because I said, look, there's something going on. Because I was already interested in alternative medicine, and I saw a lot, experienced a lot. I knew this was special. For example, we had a patient, man in his 40s, 50s. He had a food addiction to milk. He was drinking every day 3 gallons of milk.
Whoa.
And the doctor says, look, I can only save your life if you work with me, and we got to stop this, right?
Yeah, balance, man, balance.
The guy wouldn't stop. And 3 months later, he was dead. I don't know whether you're aware that if you drink too much water, you can become very, very, very sick.
Oh, yeah.
We should drink, one of my topics I teach is water. So we should drink, let's say, 1 gallon water a day, but not 2-3 gallons. So if you drink too much water, you become sick, very sick. You can die.
Yeah, you're basically drowning yourself from the inside out.
So I applied this technology with my patients because I saw that I couldn't help a manager to manage his company if he's addicted to something. Why? Okay, because addiction takes away attention from your regular life. Your mind is circling around the addiction. Now, I came up with a few original theses. The first thesis is the thesis of my 3 Ps. P like the letter P. You can be addicted to a product, which we all understand easy, coffee, caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, LSD, whatever,
Right.
You can be addicted to a product. This is the basic understanding of people of addiction.
Right.
Then you can be the second P, addicted to a process or procedure. Example, nowadays, a lot of people are addicted to cell phones, to tablets, to screens, right? You can be addicted to go Monday night football with your friends. You got to have this. It's a procedure. You got to have this. You got to be with these guys together, right?
Right.
It's not poison, but it's an attraction. I give an extreme example. Somebody who abuses sexually children has an addiction to a process. He's not addicted to that particular child. He's addicted to the process of running the sexual life of a child.
Mm-hmm.
It's a process. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And our life is dictated by processes, but you have to be able to adapt and assimilate and change and accommodate new information in order to adjust. But if you get stuck in a process, you could absolutely become addicted in it.
So that's the second P process.
I think I know the
And then
third one, I imagine.
okay, go ahead.
Let me guess. You could be addicted to a person. Yeah. People.
Yes. Okay. And typically when you're addicted to a person, it ends up in chaotic, destructive situations. Okay. Because a good, serious, healthy relationship is not an addiction. It's a complement of each other, to respect each other. For me, the basics of a good relationship is respect, whether it's your friend or your wife. If you don't respect for what your wife stands for, and what she does in life, her job, the way she approaches other people and she treats the world, if you cannot respect that, for me, there is no love possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's my personal experience and the theory, right? All right, so that is the 3 Ps. Make sense, the 3 Ps?
Mm-hmm. All three of them again. Yep.
Good. Now, my next thesis is a strong craving is always a proof of addiction. It's not that you like something. Okay, I like fish, I like meat, fine. Liking is okay. You feel good about something is okay. But a craving is much stronger.
Mm-hmm.
People wake up in the morning and say, I need first a coffee, otherwise I don't function. That's a craving leading into an addiction. Or orange juice. I see a lot of addictions with orange juice, right? Or cigarettes. In former times, it was normal that a cigarette smoker was always a strong coffee drinker. They always matched each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a strong craving is an indicator for an addiction. That works for me after 45 years. I'm doing this for 45 years.
Yeah.
It's me
And
law.
and just another piece of that, I think coffee and cigarettes are really brutal because they actually get you caught up and addicted to two of those P's, the process and the product. Because there's a process with that. I wrote a term paper in college about how cigarettes, a lot of times, one of the most important things about them was that when people went on a smoke break, they were able to go outside for 10 minutes. They were able to walk away from work and no one would bother them. There was a process involved in the product that kind of attached it and doubled down on that addiction.
Very good. And what as well, that usually when you went out for a smoke, you animated a friend to come along.
Yeah, that's
So
right. Yeah, you get a group together or another person, a partner, and now we've got three.
So I developed this thesis, right? And that was the basic of my work to have clients, and to work with these clients or patients, to work with them on their addictions. Because I saw that an addiction decides your life. An addiction means simply you cannot say no.
Yeah.
Your free will is not strong enough to say no.
There it is.
People say, oh, I could decide, I could do this or this, I could stop it tomorrow, right? No problem, right? So when I usually before COVID, I was giving worldwide seminars. And through COVID, I couldn't. And on the stage, on the pulpit, I always said, guys, be aware of caffeine. Caffeine is a gateway to drugs. And I explain in a minute why I say that. So be aware of it. And in the last seminar I gave in Zurich, Switzerland, 2 weeks before the shutdown, the guy said to me, one guy said, Norbert, I saw you several times, you keep saying that. Why don't you, in the next presentation, only talk about that? And I said to the guy, I promise you, I come back next time, we only talk about that. Because usually my seminars take a day and I cover a lot of issues. So 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later came the shutdown and I couldn't travel, I couldn't give seminars. And basically everything I talk about, I don't say I teach about, I talk about. I'm not saying I'm a teacher. I'm not saying I know everything. I'm saying I could be wrong. You decide. I give you what I found and you decide makes sense or not. So I was stuck at home and I started to give webinars instead. And I said, now is the time to check it out. And until this moment in all my life, I never drink coffee. I may have done 1 or 2 sips just to get a feel for it. And I didn't like the acidity, stomach. I said, no, it's terrible, right? So I said, okay. I turned myself voluntarily into a coffee addict. I said, let's make the crash test. I want to find out
So you
for
became
myself.
your own subject in your experiment.
Yes, my guinea pig. I was my guinea pig. I
Yeah,
said, look,
that was my guinea pig.
let me drink coffee every day, 1 cup for 30 days. And after 30 days, I quit. And then I see my reaction, right?
Oh man, I imagine there was some headaches in those first few days.
Of course. Of course. Everybody who drinks coffee, basically, especially caffeine in general, everybody who does gets into headaches, into acidity, sour, All right. So I did this. Now, working with alcoholics a lot. An alcoholic drinks today because it's raining cats and dogs. And he said, or she said, what a shitty weather. They give me a drink. I got to get over this, right? And if tomorrow the sun shines, the same person says, wow, what a great day. Come on, let's celebrate. Let's have a drink, right? He always has a justification excuse, right? And when he goes badly down, the very next day, the person swears to God, I will never drink again. And the person means it. They really mean it. I will never do it again in my life. But then the addiction kicks in and his free will is not strong enough to say no. So I had to say this to make the next sentence understandable. So after 30 days, I was supposed to stop, right? The 31st day, I pull in the drive-through on my way to the company. I said, oh, come on, don't be so German. Come on, another day. What the hell? Another day, right? All right. So I said, okay, fine. The second day said, 1 or 2 days doesn't matter, right? It does not matter. Come on. So the third day, I said, why didn't you say 60 days? Why did you cut it to 30 days? And I said, oh shit, now you are addicted. You have the same stupid justifications like all your clients. You are addicted. Damn. Only 1 cup a day for 30 days. It was enough. Of course, I was a bit more sensitive than a lot of other people because I didn't take drugs, never smoke cigarettes, never drink alcohol, blah, blah, blah. So my body was more sensitive to, let me call it, bad products, right? So it took me 2 months to get out of it. 2 months to get out of it. And I said, okay, I got to write a book. I got to put this all together. I was researching for 2 years all the material in the book, of which I give you some quotes now, some referrals. So now, as I write in the book, and when some people are listening now, somebody would say, I'm not addicted to caffeine, to coffee. Keep in mind, caffeine is in black tea, green tea, white tea, matcha tea. Caffeine is most of the soda pops. Caffeine is in every energy drink. Look at the market of energy drinks. Okay.
Oh man, they're the worst because they got all the sugar too. It doesn't just stop there.
And the chemicals, and
Oh yeah, they're bad.
So then I tell people like who are listening now, when I wrote the book, and I encourage you to read the book, it's not the point to blame you. You are addicted. No. I know what I know what addiction is. I told you I was addicted so bad that I was on the road to die. And the doctor stopped it, and he stopped me, and he made me understand, and he made me go through it. And everybody who goes through it has withdrawal symptoms. Whether you take heroin, you stop, or you stop coffee, it's all withdrawal symptoms. Of course, we agree that cocaine is worse than coffee, but it's just a gradient worse. Okay.
Yep.
It's just a gradient worse.
The psychological pull and draw is underneath all of them. Same exact process. Your brain wants it underneath subconsciously. It's craving it until it brings it into your conscious awareness. And that at that point, you have a fight with your self-esteem, which tells you don't want to be feeling like you're a bad person, so you justify it, just like you said.
And what happens as well is when you look around yourself and others, and this is what I found, I was working as a management consultant. And I saw I cannot improve your life as a management consultant and you improve your company if you are addicted. Yeah, what has my Red Bull addiction to do with my company? I said a lot. First of all, your thoughts are a lot about to get the next Red Bull. And in one interview I gave for a management person, a podcast, he confirmed to me that one of his colleagues was instructing his secretary how often she had to bring in a Red Bull per day. There's a clear pattern. Okay.
Yep.
So it takes attention and it takes your, let me call it self-confidence. Because the biggest problem, let's say an alcoholic, which I found out, every addiction is two-sided to my definition. It's a physical addiction, a medical physical addiction, and a mental addiction.
I agree.
And every alcoholic I worked with or other drugs, I never worked with heroin addicted because that's too much to me because I'm not qualified for that. Okay. I stayed away from that. I just analyzed, okay, you have addiction there, and I'll refer you to a good colleague who's professional, okay, in that section. I'm not qualified to do that. But what the big problem is, the mental problem for everyone who's really addicted and he gets aware of it, the self-esteem, the lack of self-respect. Every time an alcoholic loses the game today, drinking again, every time it gives him another kick in the butt of his self-esteem, of his self-respect.
Right.
The person has the biggest problem of lack of self-respect. So when I worked with these people, and I always worked on trying to give them a balance in their self-respect. And the management consultant situation was always to make them understand what's happening. I'm not telling you how to run your life. I can give you suggestion how you could improve it. But you make that decision, you go that road or not. I don't go that road.
Yeah,
I go with you.
I'm not judging you. I'm just saying, let's talk for real.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
So, and I saw if I could get them off if they realized I'm addicted and I got them off the product, off the procedure, whatever it was, I saw how their life became stable, their family life, which was often in turbulences because of their addictions, because you cannot be addicted to alcohol, especially, only without other people realizing it or suffering. And I have this principle that one addicted person, let's say I take alcohol as a middle of the road product. An alcoholic has 5 to 10 people in his life whose life he is destroying. If he has 1 or 2 children, his wife, the alcoholic destroys their life.
Yeah.
Father, mother, mother-in-law, brother, 5 to 10 people in your life, you are destroying part of their life because of your addiction. They're suffering as well. So the bottom line was that I applied these rules which I discovered, I applied them to different things in life, not only family and friends, but as well to business and to well-being. Good. Does that make sense? I think you're thinking the same way I do.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're speaking our language here on this show. We talk a lot about that. And one of the things I love that you're saying here is some are right there. They're right in front of you. They're obvious. Some we can differentiate levels of what's worse, what's not as bad. Caffeine versus heroin, like you said, of course, cocaine or whatever. Yeah, those are obvious. Some of them are even reinforced by societal norms or legal structure. If you go out on a corner and try to buy heroin, you're going to go to prison or jail. Like everybody knows that is not okay. But anybody, teenagers, can walk into a convenience store and buy a Red Bull every single day. They can go to Starbucks. There's one on every 25 feet in the world these days. You can get coffee anywhere, caffeine. And so now we're seeing that on a global level with lots and lots and lots of things. And so it's all about the exact same process in the brain. And when your brain is literally taken over by a process that you have to have, a craving, it's always going to cause imbalance. And imbalance in life is kind of what you started with the food stuff. You ate 3 things daily. That's imbalance, right? It's too much of some things and not these other things. There's about the imbalance. If you go and you need to gamble every single day and then you need to borrow money because you can't get out of it, that's imbalance. It doesn't mean don't have fun. It doesn't mean don't like fish. It doesn't mean, when you're on vacation, don't have a drink or two if you want to. It just means that, like, if you're not aware of what is happening and understand how the addiction side of the brain and body work, it's gonna get you just like it does to all of us, just like it did to you with your coffee experiment.
Yes. So what I found out then is when I looked into the mechanics, I said I have to go beyond that because what we just discussed is a lot of discussion around. Problem is, I don't like the average medical doctor. In my definition, 95% of the medical doctor is a disgrace. 3% are great. 2% are fantastic. And in my life, I had the privilege, and I ended where I am, to work mainly with these 2%ers, which are hard to find. And they found a lot of their roads into my seminars. And they had always the same statement. Well, I was teaching about electromagnetic radiation, cell phone, Wi-Fi, teaching about water, what water quality really is, about nutrition, about addiction. And all these doctors told me, why were we not taught what you in one day in a seminar gave us the basic run through? Why we were not taught in medical university, in medical school? Nobody taught us. And they admitted in a one-to-one conversation that they were educated to prescribe pharmaceutical products.
Oh, yeah, it's a money game.
That was it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
They're gonna get rich because they're doctors, and of course, you go into it going, "I wanna help people." Yes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? But when it comes
Yes.
down to it, pharmaceutical companies and medical field, like, it's money. Money, 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 money. Insurance companies, money. And so, unfortunately, once you're caught up in that system, even if you are in that top 2% of excellent or fantastic doctors, you still have to constantly have your guard up and your wits about you to navigate all of those systems that are still trying to constantly bring it down.
So it's about dopamine. So I said, okay, what it is at the end of the day, people want to get their kick. Okay, the dopamine kick.
Yep.
And whatever it is, of course, that careful if it's illegal, right? Yes and no. So I found out through alternative medicine that God gave us emergency programs. Now, what I'm telling you now is something which may blow some people's mind, what I'm saying now. I don't care. I think I'm on the right track. So if somebody says, it's okay, I don't need applause. I'm not doing anything to get applause.
Hey, you said that you're just talking, you're not teaching, so give me all that opinion, man. I'm ready.
Okay. So God gave us what I call emergency programs.
Okay.
I give you a few examples. Fever is an emergency program. And all these examples I quickly give you now, the emergency programs are stronger than your free will to decide. Okay, they kick in. They go beyond your intentions and your will. The body says, screw you. I have something going on. Autopilot. So fever is one of them. Thirst is one of them. You feel thirsty, the body says, drink or I will die.
I will shut down on you. Get some water now.
And when the body gives you that signal, it's already late. Not too late, but it's late. Right. You should drink in a pattern where you never become thirsty. You just have it always just enough, right? Same for hunger. If you wouldn't have the hunger feeling, what would happen? You would just collapse and die. You didn't know that you were starving, right? Okay, there are some others like throw up and diarrhea. These are emergency programs. Something is in the body, I got to get rid of it. Pain. If your arm has a big pain, the body says, look, here's something going on. Find out what the pain is, right? Number one. Number two, you get the pressure, you better follow the pressure. If not, we all happened to us. We didn't follow it enough in time, right? Not fast enough. Now, another one is sleep. Sleep is an emergency program. When I was a late teenager, I drove with my car at nighttime. I played in a band and I wanted to get home. I was tired and it was a long night. And I fell asleep while driving, which is a scary experience.
Yeah.
Because you wake up and you may have just nipped for a second or three. You're still on the road, no accident. You're aware shit, it could have happened.
Panic.
But you panic, right? So the body says, I don't care, you want to get home. I need sleep now.
Need it.
And the body turns it off and you fall asleep. And sometimes it happened, you sit at the TV and a couch and you were gone and you wake up and said, Jesus, I didn't realize I was gone, right? The body says, I need sleep. It's an emergency program. These are some examples. There are more emergency programs, but these are examples, right? Now, the biggest emergency program, to my definition, which is key to what we're talking here, is stress, okay? To my observation, most people, most doctors have to my opinion, a wrong opinion about stress.
Oh, okay.
So think back, think back 50,000 years.
Okay.
You were in the savannah and you ran across a saber-toothed tiger. You were scared to death in a split second. And we all have what we call a normal adrenaline level, which we need to live. A normal level of adrenaline.
Mhm.
Like we all have a normal level of sugar, which we need to live.
Yeah, glucose.
Right?
It does a lot of work for us.
So you saw this tiger and you had two options now. Run faster than him or fight, which later became in our language fight and flight mode.
Mhm.
Because if you are balanced without fear, without stress, you are in a mode that the parasympathetic nerve system runs your life.
Amen.
Which is the health.
You're
which is the
speaking my
healthy way.
language. That's right. Yep.
So in this moment, let's say you were in a parasympathetic nerve condition, it changes immediately in a split second to sympathetic nerve system. Okay? God has said, in this situation, you need all the power you can possibly have. And I pump up the adrenaline production. The adrenaline glands are sitting on top of the kidneys, and I pump up their production. Without your control, without your will, without your intention. It's an emergency program. You need all the power in the world you can possibly get. All right. So the body pumps up this adrenaline level through the roof, which now gives you the power to run like never before or to fight like never before, hoping either one is enough, right?
Mhm.
It's important to know that in this moment, the body says, you were hungry 5 minutes ago? Don't need that.
Don't need that.
You were thirsty? Don't need that. You thought about sex with your wife? Sorry, you don't need that.
You were tired?
Too
bad.
I'll cut everything off, which you don't need for your immediate survival
Mhm.
against the tiger. I reduce it drastically or I completely cut it off.
Yep.
Focus on this situation, which means I'll give you more heartbeat. The lungs pump better. The eyes, what you see
Dilate.
is different.
Yeah.
The muscles become stronger. You're more focused. And it's a survival mode. Okay? And this is stress. Now, typically, let's say you ran away from the tiger 50,000 years ago. After 1-2 hours, your body, your adrenaline level came down back to normal again. And you went back to your parasympathetic nerve condition, balanced. And this situation may have happened once a week, once a month, once a year, we don't know. But it did not happen every day 5 times, typically. It happened once in the blue moon, and you could live with this increase and the dopamine, which increased with it. You could live with this easily, and it came down, and you just went on your way. Okay, so far so good?
Yep.
Now, Here's what happens. If you drink caffeine, the caffeine mimics the situation of death. The caffeine makes the adrenaline glands go into a power mode like you are scared to death. Same mechanics. Same mechanics. Problem is that if you drink at the morning, 8 o'clock, it's your first coffee, which can last up to 20 hours to get out of your system. Usually 1-2 hours later, you drink the next one. For lunch, another one. In the afternoon, you're really worn out. You think I need another one, whether it's coffee or any caffeine drink, Red Bull, whatever it is, which gives you that extra energy which you are missing. And it's a roller coaster. It's an endless roller coaster, and you are under permanent stress, which we call chronic stress. Stress is okay. I'm looking at my clock. I say, oh, I'm running late. Crap, I'll miss the plane, right? Then you're stressed for a moment and you got to do this, right? It's
Right.
okay. No problem. And it goes away. But most of us don't come out of that chronic stress anymore. It goes 24/7.
Yeah.
And then you get your dopamine there. And yes, no question, you are less tired. Of course you're less tired. Because your heart is pumping like crazy, and your lungs and your brother is all running for survival. You got to get more energy, right?
Right.
And the crush is deeper and more substantial from time to time. In my book, I explain all that in the coffee book, and I explain the consequences, the medical consequences, of which I give you some significant one before the show is over.
You make a good
So-
point with the stress, by the way, just to point out that you said, there's a common misconception about stress, and people often associate stress with all the external stuff that is happening to them, and very rarely stop to understand that a lot of that stress reaction, that emergency system, as you described it, is self-induced. They're putting
Of course.
themselves into stress and then
Yeah.
blaming, justifying all of the other the reaction and the reasons for that natural reaction, because that person was late, or I didn't make it to the bus stop on time, or I had to go and talk to my boss for an extra hour, or it's everyone else's fault, and not thinking about the fact that we're resilient beings. We have the ability to handle all of this easy stuff. There's no tigers, right? There's no reason why we would need to be that way, but we force feed ourselves into that hyper stress situation and then go deal with all the busy stuff that we pack our day with. So it's like a perfect storm.
Of course. In my life seminar, I used to give at this point an example. As a good German, I'm not interested in American football. I know I have hundreds of enemies now listening to that show. Oh, sorry.
No. We're all jealous of you, man. Envy. Must be nice.
Well, I can tell you, I rose to the big part, my two grandsons, who are 15 and 17 now, and then to basketball. And I'm the Uber driver, taking them all around. And I loved, I never saw a basketball game before in my life. And I became a total fan of basketball. So, but now I give you an example, which I always use in my seminars to make that point understand to everyone. You're out in California. I come to visit you. And you said, hey, Norbert, I bought 2 tickets for us today for football game. The Bull Bear Riders, New York, play against the underdogs from Chicago, whatever the name is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the game of the season, And I got 2 tickets, and I don't know how expensive they were and what you did to get them, because it was already sold out. And I said, okay, in appreciation, thanks a lot, very nice of you. So we're going to drive to that game. You have something going on, and we're leaving a bit later than you thought we should leave, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the car, heading for the game, and you keep looking at the watch, Oh, we're running late. Oh, we're running late. Oh shit, we're running late. And I sit there and say, okay, we're running late. Okay. And then you say, okay, there was a big accident in the street. Oh, we will miss the first 15 minutes. Fred, no chance. And you're upset and you're under stress, right? And I sit next to you and I say, okay, running late. I don't give a shit.
It
We're
doesn't
running
matter
late.
to you. Yeah, you don't, it's not important.
Hey, it's not important. You put yourself under stress now because for you to miss the first 15 minutes and this whole damn game is dragging on for 2 hours anyway, of which most of the times the people don't move, don't do anything. Just pause, which drives me nuts. So you gave the importance of being 15 minutes late. You put yourself right this moment under stress. Putting you under stress means kidneys
Adrenal glands.
adrenal glands produce adrenaline, right? Your heart pumps, which is not good for your heart, as we all know how many people every day die of heart attacks and the consequences of their cardiovascular situation. So you put yourself under stress, and as you said it quite very clear 2 minutes ago, we self-create those permanent stress and chronic stress. Chronic stress means simply it's not one stress which is over and then it's done, but one stress before it even comes down, there's another stress impulse, another stress impulse, another stress impulse. So this is what's happening. And when we have people who are addicted, it's like a vicious circle. For example, talk about cell phones and kids and even adults nowadays more and more. They give themselves the stress and put themselves in a situation where they hunger for more stress. So you think, are you crazy? You should go the opposite way. No. They are really attracted to destruction. And what I call the process on the 3 Ps, you can be attracted to destruction or in a bad relationship with another person. Okay. So this influences each other and harmonizes in a strangest way, harmonize in chaos.
Yeah. I mean, and we live in a busy world. Now we're all connected to everybody on the entire planet. We can have this conversation right here. There are some beautiful pieces of technology, but you're absolutely right. What ends up happening is 2 things, I believe. First of all, I appreciate everything that you've said, Norbert. I am right there with you. I love hearing your perspectives. I love hearing the way you describe them, because it's always good to hear the similar, laying out of the information with different language. You know what I mean? Different ways of explaining it, and I really appreciate that. So with that in mind, 2 things happen now. One of our emergency systems that is vital to all the other ones working well is under siege, and that is sleep. It's being robbed.
Yes.
The serotonin process, melatonin process, our circadian rhythms, all of it is being robbed by blue light and by the screen addiction, which is a process and a product all at once, constantly. And the time that you need it the most, arguably, they say certain ages in your developmental period when your body is growing, your bones are stretching, you're becoming an adult, you are growing through childhood and adolescence. You need even more sleep during that time because all that stuff's happening in your rest mode in that emergency system. So you shorten that up by offering a dopamine reward loop that is constantly attacking the nervous system on top of healing from this other emergency system. And it's like handing heroin to a heroin addict. They cannot resist. They will not be able to. And you're also forming all the habits of addiction that are going to really mess things up. And because the world is now in a place of let's fill our entire day. You could be making money in your sleep. How many meetings could you have on your phone versus on your tablet versus on your computer versus in person? Plus, you got to go to the bank and you got to call the driver's license place to go and get that thing. The stress is already there to help us to be successful naturally, and then you go dump artificial stress right into your system and heighten it even worse. I think that you're onto something, man, and I totally agree with you on those points.
So when I give my presentation about coffee, right, caffeine, and I say, people, look, there's no question. It gives you extra energy. This extra energy you buy and pay with your health.
Mhm.
Other way possible. I give an example before the show is over. I guess we have a few minutes left only. In my book, I quote a study from the university in Southern Australia. They made a test with 17,000 participants. 17,000.
Oh.
And their conclusion is the consumption of caffeine or coffee in either way reduces your gray brain matter
Yeah.
and increases the chance of dementia by 50%.
Oh, wow, that is a big finding.
So I discovered, and I went into this, and I called caffeine the gateway to a drug world.
Mm.
Very simple. Everything a pregnant woman mentally consumes or physically consumes, she shares with the unborn baby.
Yeah.
There's no other way.
Right.
There's no other way.
Right.
Okay. So many mothers, perhaps even most, keep drinking coffee, soda pops, energy drinks while they're pregnant. So the unborn baby gets conditioned to caffeine. The unborn baby is a caffeine addicted person by the time the child is born. And look at the world, 3 years old, they drink Coke as water as normal, nothing special, right?
Mhm.
When they became a bit older, they grow into energy drinks and more Coke and so on and so forth. And I call it the gateway to drugs, because the unborn baby has been trained to consume caffeine.
Yep.
And for me, that mechanic may be one of the key issues for autism.
Mm.
And when you hit autistic, 50%, reduction of gray brain matter, if that refers to adult people, you think an unborn baby would not have a reduction of the gray brain matter?
Yeah,
by
it doesn't even get a
consuming-
chance to fully develop the gray matter,
No.
much
And
less
another
take it
study,
away.
another study from a university in Spain confirms that mothers consuming caffeine have early birth, earlier than planned,
Premature.
and have the baby typically has less weight as it should have,
Interesting. So it's got some
and
atrophy all the way around.
the cartilage is not fully developed. So these are all the facts nobody speaks about caffeine,
Yeah.
right?
That's really
But I
important to
speak-
know. I'm glad. We're
Well, I
gonna have
haven't-
to get your book, man.
Well, I have it in my book, and in my book, nice thing what I did was I'm a German. I'm good organized. I in my book I have QR codes,
Great.
so you can link to the sources of information. I'm not making this up.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
The Olympic Committee had caffeine on the doping list from 1984 to 2004. For 20 years, caffeine was on the doping list. Then suddenly on a Monday morning, they said, oh, it's not a doping anymore. It's not a doping product. And for me, 2004, that was the time when these damn energy drinks all came up.
Right.
And I believe somebody kicked their butt and says, look, we cannot sell our energy drinks if the athlete are drinking our energy drinks and you stop them from competing. We got to change that, please. That's my opinion, my personal opinion.
Mhm. I mean, marketing and the big dollar is always gonna be the biggest enemy we have. I mean, and it's one of the things we talk about on this show a lot is the number one currency in the world is your time, your attention, and your engagement. And if athletes go and say, "Hey, you drink a Red Bull and you could be like me," and kids are watching that, they're like, "Well, I want to be like them. They're really awesome. They're great athletes." So it makes it cool. That's why you can buy sweatpants at Goodwill, a thrift store, for $2. But if you go get the exact same pants and they have the little Nike symbol on them at the Nike store, they're $100. because of endorsements and marketing and advertising. It makes it seem better. It's the same thing. It's all the mind is powerful and they know how to use it. So we have to be aware and take back control of our own thought processes and understand what's happening to us. And that helps with everything. It helps with caffeine. It helps with spending money. It helps with time and attention spent doing things that are fun for us, good for us, healthy, recognizing when we're addicted to one of those three things.
Well, I'm afraid that in our society, we've gone too far already, that the majority of people, I don't reach with my messages, with my information, because they don't want to. They don't want to leave their comfort zone.
Right.
When you spoke about sleeping before, I have once podcast, the 19 possible causes for bad sleep. The 19 possible causes for bad sleep, of which one of them, maybe besides caffeine, one of them is the penetration from electromagnetic radiation due to Wi-Fi and cell phone.
Makes sense to me.
Well, the 5G, I'm not sure and I don't want to be a smartass here. 5G came exactly when the COVID shutdown came.
I did not know that.
When the COVID shutdown came in February, March 2020, that was the time 5G came in public appearance and appliance. And at that time, I met with a gentleman who had his best buddy working in a team while we were locked down. These teams, hundreds across the country, were setting all up the 5G towers.
Interesting.
Okay.
Under the
And
guise,
5G,
it's going to make everybody more connected during this hard time.
sure.
Right.
And 5G attacks your pineal gland.
Mm-hmm.
And there are 6Gs on the horizon. And 6G is the end of mankind as we know it, as you and I experienced it.
Oh my gosh, that is terrifying, man. I am not excited to hear that because we could barely hang on as it is.
Well, 5G seemed to be new in February 2020. The new thing. Little people know that 5G was developed in the 1960s,
That's a long
used
time
by
ago.
used by the American, Canadian, and British Army as a weapon.
Do you think that 6G is just going to be too overwhelming for our brain in our society? Is that the deal?
No, it's there are two components. One component is the electromagnetic radiation, the frequencies. You have a natural electromagnetic radiation in your body. Your body cannot work without electricity.
Mm.
In part, heart, brain, everything is working on electricity. But you have as well a natural electromagnetic radiation in your body, electromagnetic radiation field in your body, a natural one. As you measure the speed of the car in miles, you measure electromagnetic radiation in microwatt per square meter. And our natural field has 80 microwatt per square meter, 80. More than 100, you should not go. 120 is the limit, according to German building biologists.
Mm.
If you do a cell phone call, you have either 1,000 or 2,000. Okay. Electric car, way beyond. So, and these frequencies, they overrun, and kill our natural balance of 80 microwatt per square meter.
Yeah, because our body's electrical. Our nervous system is neuron.
Yes.
It's going to
So, and
scramble it.
now the 6G, behind the curtain, the 6G is the ideal tool to steer the people's life and personal decisions.
Yeah.
So it goes beyond just transferring information, goes way beyond to control the individual.
Oh
You
man,
can
we need to have another session because I want to get into that. I want to know more about your research concerning the electromagnetic stuff and like the 6G, the 5G. I know that I'm really glad that we got into the topic of addiction and caffeine and how you kind of got inspired into your career. But one thing I learned today, Norbert, is that you have a wealth of knowledge in a lot of different areas. And I think that we should we get off this call, I'm gonna send you an email. We could stay in touch, and we need to book a second episode, man.
Every Monday, 10 o'clock, I'm here.
I love it, man. Well, listen, I know that I was a little bit confusing on the planning side. I apologize for that.
Oh,
No stress, right? Not even worth it.
we both gone through more difficult things in life than that.
That's right.
If that's the worst we're going to ever have till the end of our day,
Oh,
well
thank you.
done.
Yeah, exactly. I tell my students all the time, you've made it through every hard day in your life. Today will be no different.
Well, no. This what you're talking about, people don't know what you're talking about. It's a bit of a small little obstacle, It's
Yeah, not
not
even a thing.
important.
And we still made it work, man, and had a great conversation. So thank you for your time today and for joining us on the show, man. We will make sure that we get this all squared away so we can keep this conversation going. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you having me, that I have a platform and what you do for mankind to spread the truth.
Same to you, man. And one last question for you. Where can we go to get more information about you and your book?
Take a plane, come to Tampa Bay, Florida, and meet me for dinner. I have a website which makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
The website is called improveyourlife.net. No, sorry, .in. I have American German website, improveyourlife.us. Because we're United States.
There we go.
Remember, everybody should improve their life.
Improve your life. US.
Yes.
Man, that's a good one. That's a good domain to get. Nice work. All right, Norbert.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, and we will talk soon. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.